Mickey, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here. I've had a fantasy
Yeah.
about coming out of that blue curtain for 30 years.
Really?
And here I am.
And now you did it, yeah.
Dream come true.
I'm so happy. No. Before we talk about Pajimmies, I want to talk about your career because you've been involved with some of the most influential brands in the world. J. Crew, The Gap, Ann Taylor. You pretty much invented them. You actually are the person that created Old Navy. I mean, that's you. I'm describing you. How do you think of Old Navy? How does that happen?
Well, you know, I'll try to talk fast because I could take an hour.
Good. Take an hour.
Old Navy was based, I saw an article in the New York Times 25 years ago saying someone was working on Target, a cheaper Gap competitor. And, you know, I said, okay. I went to see the store because, you know, only the paranoid survive. I went to the Mall of America. 3 minutes I went in and I was relieved. This ain't going to be a Gap competitor at lower prices. But the corporation did a lot of research. I don't do research. I just do what I feel right. I do research talking to people. I then went back to San Francisco. I learned that 80% of the jeans in America are sold for less than $30. I go, wow. And Gap started at $34.50. And the last thing I did is I gave 10 people who worked at Gap $200 each, and I asked them to go shop at all the discount stores, come back, bring clothes by category. And we had a meeting, and I loved everything they said. And at the end of the meeting, them presenting, I said to myself, we're going to do this. And that was the beginning. Long story short on the name, it's very corporate how you things when the big corporations. So we didn't have a name, and we wanted a name. And names are emotional. You know, you name your children certain things that. So I was in Paris with Maggie, one I work with, and we're driving on Rue Saint-Germain. Fortunately, I was in the back left seat. I pass a neon-lit marquee, small. It said Old Navy on it. So I said to Maggie, that's the name.
Yeah.
So here we are.
And that's a good, yeah.
That's the story.
Now, I believe that the first time I met you, we were at J. Crew.
Yep.
And you were one of the most creative and open and warm and smart people I've ever met. And
I wish my mother would have said that.
I went in, and you have this desk and just like an open office, and you had a loudspeaker.
Yep.
And you announced to everybody in all the I had this 2-3 floors at J. Crew.
We had probably 1,500 people, whenever.
You're like, hey, everybody, Jimmy Fallon's in my office right now if you want to come. And you just, and I come up with an idea of a pocket square like that,
Yeah,
but it was an iPhone case that looked like a pocket square.
Right.
Totally ridiculous.
That was his first design project.
Yeah. And we raised a lot of money for David Sheldrick Foundation and saved a lot of elephants.
Orphanage in Kenya.
And did you think right there, oh, gee, this guy's weird?
You?
Yeah.
I actually love you. And I see you dance and sing. And when I was a kid growing up, not that you were born then, but, you know, if I didn't do what I do, I'd like to be you, singing and dancing. So, no, it's true.
Well, we hit it off.
Yeah.
And we have now our own line of Pajimmies.
Well, that's a great story also.
But I mean, you looked at me and I go, how did you, because you came back to me, you go, Jimmy, let's have another meeting. I go, sure, Mickey, whatever. I'd love to come in. I had another weird idea. And you go, do you ever think of maybe doing pajamas? And I go, I love pajamas, but why? Like, why? How did you know?
You're asking me?
Yes.
Why? Because in my experience, there's always a blank white space in the world. And what I do is look for an opportunity to build something better or more dominant. And I looked at, well, we blew out of his pajamas 4 years ago. And then we met again. He had some fakakta idea about it was like whatever it was. So we, I said, you know, Jimmy, do pajamas again. I can't find, or we can't, you know, you have to look around. Pajamas that are fun, cool, well-priced, And, you know, I'm in an emotional business. Everything is emotional.
Yeah.
So we decided to do that.
Yeah.
Sam, who was listening, Alex, the founder, my son,
Yeah,
we have a
Alex
little
is great.
group.
Samsak,
Yeah,
geniuses.
You can't do this without a team. We have a few sitting in the audience. So, like, for example, and by the way, we couldn't have done this without Jimmy's designer DNA. You know, I mean, if you look at the sleep, where's the socks?
The socks are fun too because they just say
Well, the Z.
You know, there's. It's fun.
Jimmy was the designer on that.
Yeah, the different colors, the tote.
Well,
this was Samsak. I
Yeah,
think.
well, Sam, you know, look, for me, being creative leads to more exciting things in the world.
Yeah.
You know, with Steve Jobs, 16 years on the board with Steve, I idolized him. He was a genius. And we worked well together.
You helped with the design for the Apple Store, right?
Yeah, well, he wanted, I was with Gap, and he asked me.
No big deal. Yeah, I guess so.
Well, you know, I just know who I am.
I know.
And, you know.
You're a humble guy. I had to drag him to get on the show tonight. I'm like, please come out just so everyone could see a genius and just meet Mickey Drexler. And just see.
As long as you don't think that, you're okay and you'll grow. But so.
Say that sometime. He's the best. Thank you for everything.
All right.
Thank you for coming on. Mickey Drexler with Jimmy's are officially available now at alexmill.com and in Alex Mill stores. More Tonight Show after the break. Stick around. Mickey Drexler!
Hey, hey.